welcome, welcome. I'm so thrilled today. This is the Mind, Body, Home show, and we are growing into health. And what does that mean, growing into health? Well, we are going to be talking today with Karla Dixon. She is an amazing woman. She has gone through some incredible transformations, and we're going to hear so many great stories from her today. And I want to say thank you, Karla, for being here.
Thanks for having me, Joni.
Yeah, it's really exciting. We met a long time ago.
Yes.
We go back a long ways. In fact, it goes back to high school.
Yes. You know, you had mentioned very fleetingly that you did interior design many years ago. I remember that, and it sort of got stored in the back of my brain. And then when it came time for me to pay attention to my home, as I was thinking about either selling it or staying, you just popped right into my brain, and so I reached out.
Well, I know. I'm so glad you did.
Yeah.
Because since that time, it's been a wonderful journey and a wonderful friendship and relationship that we've been able to continue to build.
Beautiful.
I know. And so what we're going to talk about today is that transformation. Karla you mentioned that you were going to sell your house, or you were going to maybe stay there. Boy, was there a transformation. And I'd like to take the audience on a journey to what we talked about on that first day.
Sure. I think the general challenge for me was I never felt connected to my home. I thought it was beautiful when my husband at the time and I bought it. I was like, wow, this is really unique. It's a Victorian home, but it had an add-on, and so had some modern amenities and comforts, and it was very quirky, and I liked it enough to go ahead and buy it with him, but I never felt very connected to it. And then a change of events in our lives, and we separated. I realized I started actually really looking at it and saying, is this a place that I want to stay, or do I need to leave this place and find some place that is a new start? Mm-hmm. And I thought, well, if I can feel connected, if I can take it to the point, take one more effort, my son and I discussed this, give one more effort to try to feel connected to it, then we'd stay. And if not, we'd sell.
And this is why the show is called Mind, Body, Home, because we become centered in ourself. It's within our body. We become at ease and find that peaceful place that we can always go back to. We can't find it outside of ourselves. We can't say, that place over there is going to make me feel good. Well, maybe on a given day, but first find it here, right?
Yes.
First find it here.
Yes.
And so then when we started working on your home, I think that's where that beautiful bridge came in to play, which is where we were taking yourself, your inner self, and saying, I want to now bring that out into my home. It really was an interesting dynamic to see, the change in you that I saw. Not dramatic. It wasn't night and day, because you have already been on that journey.
Yeah.
And every time we talked about something, whatever it was, it didn't matter what it was about, it could have been about this cup, right? Pick this up and you say, does this bring joy to my life, right? And you say, yes, I love every time I hold this cup in my hand, I feel joy. That's how your house, your home can feel.
Yeah. You remind me, one of the first things that you had me do was literally just to walk around my house and be present in my home and to look at what was around me and to take this and move it to another room, to another place, and see how it felt. And I realized, oh my God, I've lived in this house for 12 years and I didn't even really see what was around me. I didn't see the stuff I had and where it was and the pictures on the wall anymore. And so that was the first really deep,
very powerful.
Beautiful, powerful exercise.
Yeah. And we did a couple of exercises.
Mm-hmm.
Just attaching yourself to something. Like you're like a magnet to things. So as you were going around your house and touching, you started to feel what the material felt like, what it looked like, what emotions were coming up for you. And just for the record, I'm not a therapist.
Just play one on TV.
I just play one. Right. So yeah, the things that you touched, and we talked about space around them as well.
Yeah,
That was a
space
big
around
one, right?
them.
That was like, because everything has energy, and everything has, like when it comes into contact with something else, this comes into contact with this, it changes. And as things change around us, so do we. So the connection that we have with our things, our stuff, matters, and how they even have a relationship with one another. So, Karla, you were finding a relationship to the relationship to your home through the things you had. And what was the one thing you really can point out, like one thing that we did together that shifted for you? Like you said, wow, I cannot believe the difference that made in this space.
Oh, so yeah, that's a good question. We did so many things. So my house was is a Victorian home from the late 1800s with an add-on. The people prior to us added on, and so it's kind of hodgepodgey and awkward in some ways in the flow. But the back room, the living space that we occupy most, has a bunch of windows and a door and a window into the kitchen and another window into another room, and it had lots of cutouts in the walls, which I believe the previous owners probably did to bring light in. But we decided to close one of them, and the simple act of closing off one of the openings just totally shifted the energy in the space and made it feel more like a room, and like less energy was just flowing away and not staying in the room. Yeah, it was amazing, actually. I'm so used to it now, I almost forgot.
Right.
But it was one of the first things we did.
And
changed everything.
And seeing that before and after,
Yeah.
which we're going to show right now. Take a look at that.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing what we did that.
I've totally almost forgot that it existed that way for 12 years for me.
Right? And that's part of being connected now. So when you get used to something in your space, it's like you don't want to move it. It's good practice to move things around energetically. To move something means it's not static. So for say like a pond versus an ocean, there's the yin and the yang, and we're not going to talk about yin and yang and feng shui, but energy is all around us. So when you do move and shift things, closing up a wall, opening up a wall, creating a veil so that some light comes in and doesn't penetrate the room. There's all these little things you do that as you're doing them, if you didn't try it, you'd never know it.
Yeah.
And when you did try those things, your reaction was just so much joy to see you happy.
Well, you disrupted first, though.
All right, let's talk about disruption.
You disrupted first.
Let's talk about disruption.
Yes. All of this flows exactly into all the spiritual, teachings and learnings that I've been doing over the past 7 years. It all flowed so beautifully. It kind of brought it to life in an external, material way. But the first thing we did was remove everything. So you came in and you literally disrupted. You removed everything from a room, and I felt the fire. So to have transformation, you need fire, you need heat, right? And I felt the heat from that, the discomfort. I mean, I was into it, don't get me wrong, but
oh, I know, I remember.
yeah, but it was disruptive and it was uncomfortable.
Right.
But then it gave way to making space to see what you wanted to bring in.
To allow. Right, to allow and being open and letting it go. And part of that is, we have this favorite thing. We don't want to let go of it. Some of us are, not everyone. I have a lot of things. I have a lot of little things in my life that I savor and I really enjoy because it reminds me of someone in my life or an experience. Maybe it's a rock, maybe it's a photograph, maybe it's a piece of furniture. And all those things matter because when we're in our space and we look at them on the daily, they affect our lives. Now, with some of the changes that you've made, you really are feeling a little more
Oh my
connected.
God, I'm feeling so much more connected. I got home from an on-site job that I did late last night, around midnight. And even the feeling I have just pulling up to the house, you know, I was like, oh, okay, I'm home. I really felt it. And I walked in and I felt so much more connected. Got into my bed and just had this huge smile. So it used to be the opposite. Because I stay at, you know, pretty nice hotels. And so the opposite used to happen when I get to the hotel bed. I used to go, oh, and smile, you know. When I got home last night, that's what happened. And I thought,
Awesome.
oh, that's it.
Now, that's exactly what I'm talking about, like the transformation that from like, wow, like dreading almost to go home versus like you can't, the anticipation of feeling your covers or your pillow or your lighting.
Just so delicious.
And
yes.
I'll tell you, I'll say that the most incredible feature of like one of those things that we brought to your home was this light.
Yes.
And I want to show everybody this light.
Okay.
Now this light, I had no idea that you went out and found this.
Yeah.
So you're like, I found this
But you
light.
inspired me like so much to be.
It just showers the room.
It does. It's magical.
It's
magical. Like a fairy tale.
Yeah.
And I think going back to the question earlier about how, you know, feeling connected and getting to that place, and some of the things that you had me do. I think the biggest thing that you did, the way you work, is I didn't say, hey, I want to redo my bedroom, and you came in and said, okay, here's some different looks and here's some different feelings and here's some boards, like which one do you like, you know? You made me, again, creating the heat and discomfort, you made me like figure it out. Not by myself, you were there guiding and helping, but you totally made me figure it out. And I was a little bit, you know, very uncomfortable in that, and it took longer than I would have wanted, but that is a very key piece to me feeling connected now to my home.
Right. Because it does take time.
Because if you had come in and said, here's you like this? Here's your new living room or your new bedroom, I would have just been like, okay.
Like blink my eyes, blink,
Yeah.
which can happen.
It would have been beautiful, I'm sure, but I probably wouldn't have felt any more connected than if I were staying, you know, in a hotel,
Right.
a beautiful boutique hotel.
Right, exactly. Right, you took the time to really feel each piece as they were coming to you.
Yeah.
Whether it was a table, a chair, a sofa, which was interesting because now the whole world has changed with timing of things.
Gosh, yes.
You know, you can get one chair one week and another chair next month.
Yeah,
right?
or 8 weeks later.
Or 8 weeks
Yes.
later.
Yes.
And so there's all of that, which is actually a really probably more natural way of bringing things into your life.
Yeah, you're right.
And sometimes we want everything right away, but we have to wait a little longer. The anticipation of something, the imagination, it lets our imaginations, like what would that be like if this were here? And then, so when we think of how we are shifting or changing ourselves, we have to be patient with ourselves. We have to do self-care. And at this moment, you're feeling pretty good, I think, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Testament was getting home last night and just having a huge smile on my face.
I'm so happy to hear that.
Yeah.
So a couple of other things maybe we could talk about. We actually are not done.
No, we're not.
Yeah, and there's the heat that comes along with that one room, that one space. That it could be a closet, it could be a second bedroom, an attic, or it could be a basement. It doesn't matter. It's always that one space that is either holding us back from making choices because something is keeping us stuck. But sometimes it's about letting go, right? We have to let go.
She's giving me the warning. Carla, you're going to have to let
There's
go of that front room.
That is that letting go.
Feel it.
And you know what? And it's also about, it's right, it's about the energy of walking into your home, walking into your space. The first thing you see, first thing you see when you walk in your front door. What is it? Do you know what that is? If you can walk into your front door and immediately have a smile on your face because there's a picture on the wall or a light hanging or something in your space that just is just inviting you you know that everybody else that comes into your space is going to feel
the same way. Yep.
Right? Because that's where energy like attracts like. Anybody coming into your home is going to be embraced by your warmth, your choices, the love that you are now shedding like into your space. It's amazing. Look at this smile.
I know this is the warning of get ready, Karla. We're doing your front room.
We're doing the front room.
All right.
But that doesn't mean it has to hurt.
No, it's not a hurt.
No.
It's a discomfort, you know, but it's a transformational. It's prior, you know, just a step prior to transformation.
It's a step, one more step.
Yeah.
And then it's sometimes taking a deeper look at things. That's all too. Like what is it that holding on to? What is it that I can let go of? Or I don't have to let go of it completely. I can maybe move or change the location of something.
You reminded me of something. So, you know, because Joni would never really say, you know, no, we need to get rid of that out of the house. That's not how you operate.
No.
But she would say, yeah, let's move it to the office.
Move it upstairs.
Let's move it to the office. And so...
And yet you do.
I did.
And you love it.
I do. But
right.
It was just so funny. It's like when every time you would say, let's move it to the office, I'd say, okay, she doesn't want it in this room anymore. Very supportive, without being controlling, you know.
This is why the show is called Mind, Body, Home. Because the last part, which is home, is really ourselves moving into home. Right? So when you move into a space, when you move to someplace new, wherever that is, remember wherever you go, you take yourself with you. And so the transformation starts first with you, and then you move on out. So that's the process. Sometimes people look at it the other way around. They see something, they gotta have it. We look outside
to make us feel better.
To make us feel better. And that's not what this is about. All right. Thank you so much, Karla, for coming here today. This was a lot of fun.
It was fun.
I mean, really. And thank you for joining us for Mind, Body, Home, Growing into Health, where we can talk about anything and everything, and we can design anything and everything, and we can create, you know, whatever you want, whatever your dreams are, we can make happen. And that's part of it. Bring it from the inside out. Boom.